taken this endeavor. So he's given me some places to visit, but before that, as what Maharaj said, and I just want to elaborate 2 minutes on this. Mathura, Shri Viratmandal Parikrama begins from Mathura. There is a great significance why Gurudev introduced Shri Mathura Parikrama prior to going to Vrindavan and all other places, because Mathura is the gateway to get entrance into not only just the diameter of Viratmandal, but also the moods of Viratmandal. Because we are sadhakas, we are practitioners, we are not perfect. In the very first place is Vishram Ghat Maharaj. What is said? Vishram means what? Rest. But if you go deeper into the meaning from Sanskrit, Vishram. Shram means endeavors. What kind of endeavors? The endeavors which we are doing, we are struggling in this world for our necessities, comforts and luxuries. So giving an end to that shram, that endeavors, is called Vishram. Vishesh Rupena Shram. When all these endeavors, what we have performed until now, come to an end, then the endeavors begins for service of Radha and Krishna from there. So that's the point. Vishram. You understand what I'm saying? So the material endeavors coming to end and the spiritual endeavors beginning from that to the point is called Vishram. Where one takes sankalpa. The water of Jamuna hands that all my other endeavors, Krishna Adhyaya Vastu, means those which have nothing to do with Krishna, comes to end here. And from here of Krishna, I am going to begin an endeavor to attain your devotion, your bhakti devotee. This is called Vishram. Vishram, all other endeavors, making rest and sleep, RIT, all those endeavors, and the beginning of new endeavors, right? This is what we are trying to do, right? As sadhakas. So, that's why I said the gateway. And there is a goddess, Mathura Devi. We are praying to that Mathura Devi. Because anyone who resides one night in Mathura immediately get rid of all the sins. And anyone who resides 3 nights in Mathura, good package. Anyone who resides 3 nights in Mathura, get prema bhakti of Krishna. And who assigns that? Shri Mathura Devi. So we pray to Mathura Devi because my time is very short. And we have so many places to go. And if you take more time, Gurudev always used to chastise the speakers. So under the guidance of Gurudev, Vishnu Prabhu going to chastise me. So, because we need that flavor also, no? To remember it. So I'm scared of it. So Mathura Devi, we pray to her, please hand over us Vrinda Devi. So Mathura Devi, the transition from Mathura Devi to Vrinda Devi. There in Vrindavan. Then Maharaj took us to the birthplace of Krishna. We have meditated on this very nicely, so good to hear that. But one important point I was meditating on when he was speaking. There is the same prison house where Kamsa killed 6 sons of Devaki. What are those 6 sons of Devaki? They represent Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mad, Matsar. Lust, anger, greed, attachment and envy. Ego and envy. These are the 6 sons of Devaki represent Kam, Krodh, Lobh, which makes us entangled in this world again after another. These are the enemies for the sadhakas, not for ordinary people. Those who are sincere sadhakas, who actually understand and want to follow the process of bhakti, for them, these are the enemies. And Kamsa is an embodiment of fear. Fear can only kill Kam, Krodh, Lobh and Moh. Means the sadhaka Unless there is a fear in the heart of sadhaka that this lust is troubling me, this anger is troubling me, this attachment is troubling me. If there is no fear, a sadhaka cannot progress more. It's a very subtle, important point by our Acharya. So that's why comes as feeling, comes an embodiment of fear. And this 6 sense of the embodiment of lust, anger, greed. So only by fear one can overcome lust, overcome anger and other negativities. This calm, love and more. I was telling to some young boys in school, preaching to them. They have taken another form in this Kali Yuga. This Kali Yuga means the Kali Yuga is the same for 500 years time, but now is a very refined and upper level of Kali Yuga. This calm, love, please don't mind YouTube, Insta, Facebook, Twitter. They have taken many forms. So what can defeat and kill them? Fear. If there is no fear in the heart of sadhaka, one cannot progress in life. Fear is one which protects. And it comes again. So this is the present house where Krishna appeared. Tasmat Adbhut Vadam. Shri Bhagavatam described. Astonishing child have taken birth. 4-armed form, conch, fist, lotus, club, which is not an ordinary way of taking birth. So that's why that Krishna is Chandravus Krishna. So where Prabhuji really have to Rangabhumi. Prior to Krishna, prior to Kamsa got killed, Kamsa was very much fond of seeing his nephews, Krishna and Balaram. Therefore, he extended an invitation to Akrura. Oh Akrura, go to Vrindavan, go to Nandgaon and bring my nephews Krishna and Balaram. I want to embrace them, I want to see them. Because Kamsa himself, he cannot go to Braj. He tried once upon a time, but he got failure. He got so much punches on him. So he can't go there because Braj Mandal is protected by Yogamaya. So therefore he sent his assistant, Akrura, to get Krishna and Balaram. Akrura came to Nandgaon and got overwhelmed to see the footmarks of Krishna everywhere, weeping and crying. And he informed Shri Nanda Maharaj that I want to take Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. Nanda Maharaj forbade, no way, I can't send my Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. But long story short, Akrura, he brought Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, and it comes as arranged a big show like a stadium. Yesterday we had a big stadium there. There was a big show welcoming Krishna and Balaram. It's called Rangashala. Prior to this, in Mathura, Krishna has performed very astonishing activities. What are astonishing activities? Killing one washerman. Killing a washerman. Washerman means dhobi who was carrying some new clothes for Kamsa. Not the old ones, the new clothes for Kamsa. And Krishna approached to the washerman and said, hey, I want this clothes, give me. Then that dhobi and the washerman said, no, this belongs to Kamsa. I cannot give you. Krishna said, I'm going to ask one more time. Are you giving this or not? He said, no. And Krishna slapped the washerman and killed him there. What is this? Just because of clothes you can kill someone? You are Karuna Sindhu, you are ocean of mercy. What is this mercy about? This is not about the mercy. This is about his promise or his reconciliation from his previous incarnation at the time of Lord Ram. Shri Ram has to sacrifice Sita Devi, send her to exile. Because this washerman, the dhobi said, I'm not Ram, that I'm going to be Sita. But that was the pastime of Maryada Purushottam Ram. So therefore he was not able to react on this, to maintain Maryada. Krishna Leela is beyond all Mayada. It's Leela Purushottam Leela. So that revenge from Ram Leela happened in Krishna Leela. Krishna killed that body. Then Krishna Balaram and all his Sakha's friends moving forward, and then he saw one Mali, one gardener, who was carrying some beautiful garments. Krishna, he saw the gardener, and the gardener got so much attracted to see, captivated by the beauty of Krishna. He gave that garland on the neck of Krishna. Krishna blessed that Mali and the gardener, and with those new clothes he went to one Darji. Darji means tailor. And he said, Tailor, I want a beautifully nice stitched kurtas, shirts for me and Balaram, my younger brother. And the tailor immediately, with the help of so many other tailors, as the workers, they stitched beautiful shirts for Krishna and Balaram. The Sakhas, the friends of Krishna, start teasing, oh Krishna, oh, you came to Mathura, you got so many gifts here. New shirt, garland, one thing is missing. If that is been done, then oh, Sarvan Sundar, you will be so beautiful. Krishna said, what's that? The Sakha said, Chandan, sandalwood place. Walking further, Krishna, he saw one Kubja. Hunchback lady. She is bent from three sides. When she is walking, imagine if someone is walking like this, everyone used to make fun of her. But Kubja, she got attracted to see the beauty of Krishna. And therefore Kubja, even though she was carrying this sandalwood paste for Krishna, Kamsa, but seeing the beauty of Krishna, she smeared on the forehead of Krishna, made him more beautiful. And there is a promise of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. I reciprocate you according to me as you worship me. So Kubja made Krishna beautiful. Now it's turn of Krishna making Kubja beautiful. So Krishna, what he did, he put one hand on her chin, one on her waist, and gave one jhaka. And made Kubja straight and very beautiful. This is something very important here. Kubja, who was not beautiful only, she got attracted to see Krishna. That's fair enough. But Krishna is reciprocating with Kubja, who is so beautiful, but Kubja is not beautiful. What is this? This shows Krishna never looks with the external beauty. Krishna only see your internal dedication. So Krishna accepted Kubja's love, which is sadhana, which is ordinary love for Krishna. He accepted and made Kubja also beautiful. And all Mathura Vasis were astonished to see this. Wow, these boys, since they came to Mathura, so astonishing. Then they went to one museum where one old antique bow of Shiva was kept, which was being worshipped by Kamsa. Kamsa used to worship this, Shiv Dhanush. And it was being predicted that whoever going to lift this bow and break this, the one going to kill Kamsa. So Krishna, Balaram, all the Sakhas, they entered in that museum, which the bow of Shiva was being guarded by so many guards there. And when Krishna Balaram entered there, the guards said, hey, kids, don't make fun of this. This is meant for Kamsa to worship, and don't even touch. This is written, do not touch. Then all the friends of Krishna, they start teasing Krishna. Have you ever lifted the bow? Krishna? Have you ever, children they always like to play and joke. Krishna said, not one time, hundreds, thousands of times I've lifted the bow in my life. The Sakha said, you're a liar. We never saw. We used to play together and never saw you lifting a bow. Krishna said, no, you don't know. I've lifted so many times. So if that is the case, Krishna, can you lift this bow? Krishna said, there is no problem lifting this, but the only thing is, this is a problem. What is the problem? Whenever I lift it, I always get break and I get married. So a wedding takes place. You remember? The time, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Ram Leela. When Shri Ram, he left the Shiva bow and what happened? You got married to Sita. The Saka said, Krishna, you don't know anything. What are you speaking about? We are challenging you. Krishna said, okay, if you challenge me. And that was a Maryada Purushottam. Ram's Leela, where he is showing so much Maryada, paying obeisance to the bow, going around like Kurama to the bow, praying to Mahadev like this. But Krishna Leela is no any Maryada. Without looking here and there, and he just lifted the bow. And it cracked into two pieces. And there was a big sound like thunderbolt. And in the Singhasan, the seat of Kamsa starts shaking. And he's asking, what happened? Is this lightning, thunderbolt, or what? He said, no, someone has come to Mathura and break that bow. Kamsa already understood, my enemy has entered in Mathura. This is an indication. And in this way, Krishna and Balaram, they just run away from here. Guards were not able to see from where they came and from where they ran away. So it was so difficult to chase Krishna and Balaram. And finally they came to this Dharamshala, the stadium, where Krishna has arranged a welcoming ceremony for his nephew Krishna and Balaram. And you know, welcoming ceremony in India means elephant. I see many houses always have elephant. They can't raise like this. Welcoming. It's also considered auspicious. I don't know if people say this. So, elephant Govila Pir was trained that whenever these boys were to enter in this Dharamshala, this stadium, kill them. When Krishna and Balaram, hands in hands, entering in the stadium, Dharamshala, the elephant Govila Pir raises his trunk like this. And Baladev said, Krishna, see Uncle Kamsa? He loves us so much. He put this elephant at the gate to welcome us. Krishna said, yes, oh yeah, that's very great of him. Let's go inside. When they about to come in the entrance, Govila Pir start kicking them in the mood of anger, mood of killing them. Krishna said, oh Baladev, brother Baladev, this is a different kind of welcome. It doesn't seem like a good welcome. Baladev said, so if this elephant is welcoming you in unfavorable mood, then you can show your bossy in unfavorable mood. That was really Krishna. And Krishna just gave a punch to Govila Pir and smashed him, killed the elephant. Moment the boat entered in, the circus were also sitting back in the stadium, and all the Mathura, the residents of Mathura were there, and Kamsa was there, and the wrestlers, Charul and Mushrik, you can see these two wrestlers, big, huge bouncers, Charul and Mushrik. Everyone saw Krishna according to their emotions. And everyone's emotions were not the same. Those big bouncers, wrestlers, Charul and Mushrik, they saw Krishna as Mallanam Asharinam, personification of death. They see Krishna's death. Kamsa seeing Krishna as embodiment of fear. It's a long story. But the Mathura Ramis, the beautiful women of Mathura, when they saw Krishna, they get so emotional, like loving emotional to see, and start praising the Braj Gopis. Gopis tapam kirim acharya dhammusharupam lavanya saram asmavartam ananya siddhim dirghi vivyanto hadasam gulapam ikan bhamya shisheshwarasya. Oh, what a beauty, what a beauty. The young girls of Mathura. Oh, what austerities the Gopis have performed. And they use the present tense, not the past tense. They are still drinking the beauty of this personality of Krishna. They ascend their love to Krishna. And Krishna, the side of Mass, he accepted the love of those beautiful women of Mathura. And Krishna Balaram, now in the middle of Dharamshala, and Kamsa gave order to his two wrestlers, Charul and Mushrik, come forward. It was supposed to be a welcoming ceremony, but Kamsa was very tricky. He tricked this to kill Krishna and Balaram. Charu, he attacked on Krishna and Mushrik on Balaram. But Krishna said, wait a minute before we start fight. So तुम्हारी हमारी बराबरी नहीं है. Krishna said, we are not equals. And now this is very difficult to say in English, so a little bit Hindi. तुम्हारी हमारी बराबरी नहीं है. कहाँ तुम कहाँ हम. कृष्ण बोल रहे चारों मुश्किल को. और ये चारों मुश्किल बड़े बड़े पहलवान क्या कह रहे हैं? तू बालक बहुत चबड़ बातें करता है. तुम भी कोई कम नहीं है. तू वही है जिसने पूतना को मारा. तू वही है जिसने ये शिव धनुष तोड़ा. तू वही है जिसने अभी हाथी को मारा. तुम कोई कम नहीं है. कृष्ण बलराम जी को कह रहे हैं, बताओ भैया ये समझ नहीं रहा मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. मैंने तो पहले से बोल दिया तुम्हारी हमारी बराबरी नहीं. ये सोच रहा है कहाँ हम कहाँ तुम, और मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कहाँ तुम कहाँ हम. मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ हमारी तुम्हारी बराबरी नहीं. तो चालू ये तो कृष्णा मुश्किल बलराम, and they were enjoying this. Krishna Balaram enjoying this wrestling. There was so close proximity, chest to chest, thighs to thighs, arms to arms, cheeks to cheeks. So close proximity to those wrestlers, but there is a gulf of difference in their moods. Their mood is to kill Krishna. Can you imagine? That's why close proximity is not the barometer. It is the mood and intent which is more important. The wrestlers were so close, like chest to chest. So don't think, if I am very close to Gurudev, I am serving him day and night, and I am sitting on his bed and massaging him, and serving prasadam to him, then I am very close to him. It can be possible, but that's not unfair. Someone who is very far distance, but fulfilling the mission of Shri Gurudev, or serving him with mind, words and body. Body, mind and words. That student, that disciple is more important. So, this is a great example. And we can elaborate this as long as we can, if we don't have much time. So, Baladev Prabhu said, Krishna, what are you looking for? Kill him. Krishna said, how can I kill him? You are elder brother. First you show your mercy, then I will imitate you. And Baladev Prabhu, he took a mushtik. Mushtik means a punch, and gave one punch on mushtik and killed mushtik. Baladev Prabhu said, Krishna, you are done. Krishna threw the Charu on the ground and gave one punch to Charu and killed Charu and mushtik. Charu and mushtik were killed, and then Kamsa invited all the wrestlers. All of you come. Not one-on-one. I want all other wrestlers to come and attack these boys. Seeing this, the elderly women of Mathura, and the people of Mathura, they didn't feel good about this. They said, Kamsa, you are so cruel. These young boys, only 10 years, 2 months, and a few days. And these wrestlers are so strong, they're like monsters. This is not a compatible wrestling match. So Kamsa invited all of the wrestlers here. When they all came, Krishna and Balaram, punching, slapping, kicking, killing all of them. Killing all of them. And in this way, in Ramshala, now when all the wrestlers were killed, Krishna, he jumped on the throne of Kamsa, threw him on the ground, and sitting on his chest, and gave him a punch. And he fulfilled the desires of the demigods and his promise that the 8th son of Devaki is the cause of the death of Kamsa. Krishna killed Kamsa. And demigods showered flowers on Krishna. Lord Krishna and Bhagavan Ki Jai. This is happening in Ramshala. Next.
अब आप भूतेश्वर फिर अम्बरीश की लाए तो ना 10 मिनट.
So, Bhuteshwar Mahadev. Shiva has so many forms all over. And in all the holy Dham, Shri Ram, Shri Krishna, Ayodhya, and Radhamandal, in Jagannath-puri, Shiva is always there to protect the Dham. If you go to Jagannath-puri, there is Bhuteshwar Mahadev. go Vrindavan is Gopeshwar Mahadev. And then in Kameshwar Mahadev, Pipaleshwar Mahadev, Chapaleshwar Mahadev, Kapileshwar Mahadev. There are so many Mahadevs. And therefore in Mathura, the protector of Mathura is Gopeshwar Mahadev. Krishna, Kamsa used to worship Gopeshwar Mahadev. Why worship? All the demons, they worship Mahadev to get boons from him. They themselves want to become Shiva, means eternal. But the meaning of Shiva is auspicious, whereas these demons, they are not auspicious, they are inauspicious. ये फर्क है, ये अंतर है. But they worship all auspicious Shiva, but not in the favorable mood to get bhakti from him, but to only attain some strength or some boons to fight against the Lord. And that's why they never get all their desires fulfilled. They get killed by Krishna and Ram. So Bhuteshwar Mahadev. Bolo Bhuteshwar Mahadev. Then let's go to Amrish Leela. Very short parikrama. If you go there,
Walking fast.
the sun is hot. You are sitting here in AC. You have to walk so much, but you're only just sitting here. And after that, you are going to give peace. So I think we should know this the best you are doing. Now you are going to
Ambarish Leela.
Amrish Leela. So while you are walking, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So as Prabhu just said, Mathura is eternal abode. It never get destroyed in any yuga. There are pastimes in Mathura from Satyuga, where Dhruv Leela, where Dhruv Maharaj performed austerities in Satyuga, and it received the mantra from Narada. Similarly, the pastime of Amrish Maharaj, which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Amrish Maharaj, who was the king of the entire planet Earth, not just one country, not just one continent. Entire planet Earth, king of entire Earth. Amrish Maharaj. He never had any guards around him for his protection. No bodyguards. He is his sole guard. Because of his dedication to Krishna, Krishna employed his best weapon, Sudarshan. Sudarshan Namastubhyam Sars Ar Achyuta Priya. Sudarshan is Achyuta Priya. Achyuta Priya means one of the name of Krishna. Achyuta means infallible. And Priya means one who is dear to Krishna. Sudarshan Chakra has thousands of edges and very dear to Krishna. Sudarshan Chakra is always employed to protect Amrish Maharaj. But the importance of Ekadashi, Amrish Maharaj, being the ruler of the entire planet, was following Ekadashi, every Ekadashi, not once a year. But for 1 year, he wanted to observe Ekadashi in Mathura. Understand? In Mathura. So he came with all his entourage in Mathura to observe Ekadashi Vrata. And what kind of Ekadashi? Nirjal. Dry fasting. Not even drinking water. So, you are familiar with this story, this pastime, but giving in a short way. By following the ritual of Ekadashi, Durvasa Rishi came there. And it's important, the host is not supposed to eat before feeding or facilitating the guest. Durvasa Rishi means sannyasi and Amrish Maharaj was Grihastha. So the Durvasa came there and Amrish Maharaj welcomed him and said, please come, please honor some prasad. But Durvasa said, I have to take bath in Jamuna first. That should be the trend. This is the trend. One should first go take bath in the holy river and then take care of your necessities. So Amrish Maharaj thought, what should I do? If I am taking anything before my guest, Durvasa, who is sannyasi, then I am transgressing the etiquette. And then he will going to curse me. But this curse is going to be on my body. I mean, he can turn me into ashes or whatever, but that's on body, not on my soul, because soul never get cursed. Soul never get cursed. So this curse is going to be on my body. But if I skip Ekadashi, means the breaking fast in the right time, appropriate time, then that's going to be a loss in following Ekadashi Vrata. Considering this, he already convinced, I am going to break fast with Charanamrita of the Lord. But to sanction and stamp of this, he asked some Brahmins, and the Brahmins said yes, because the words of Brahmins are very powerful. If they say this and this and that, there will be no mistranslattions of etiquette. So the Brahmins said, Amrish Maharaj, what you think is correct. Because drinking water, drinking Charanamrita is as equal to as eating and also not eating. So actually not transgressing the etiquette here. And he got stabbed by Brahmins. So he drank Charanamrita, and in this way, Durvasa saw in his meditation in absorption that Amrish, he drank before me, and therefore Durvasa, पूरी story बता दी है, कितना time है? So in this way, Durvasa, he wanted to harm Amrish Maharaj. The setting one, yeah. Setting one? Fire to burn Amrish Maharaj. But Sudarshan Chakra was protecting. And therefore Sudarshan is chasing Amrish, Durvasa all over. Durvasa went to Brahma for help and protection. Brahma said, I am helpless because I am not independent. I am dependent on the Lord. Then Durvasa went to Shiva. He said, I am also not independent. I am dependent on the Lord. Then Durvasa went to Krishna, Vishnu. Krishna said, I am also not independent. I am also dependent. And that was a surprise. Krishna, whom you dependent on? And Krishna revealed the facts. What is the fact? I am not independent. Aham bhakta paradhina, I am dependent on my devotees. Therefore, long story short, he said, if you offended Amrish, you must go and ask forgiveness from him. I can't protect you. Durvasa came back to Amrish Maharaj, fell his feet. And Amrish Maharaj, he lifted Durvasa and gave a very warm, loving embrace. They said, please forgive me. Because of me, you have to go through all these turbulences. I am the cause of this. And Durvasa, he glorified the devotees of the Lord by saying, Aho Ananta Dasanam Mahatam Krishnam Anjane. Today I have seen the glories of the devotees. I wanted to harm him, to destroy him, and he is asking forgiveness from me. Because Amrish Maharaj asked Sudarshan Chakra, Oh Sudarshan, please forgive Durvasa. If I have ever performed any austerities in my life, any penances in my life, any charity in my life, please forgive Durvasa. But Sudarshan Chakra was very angry. He was not stopping and coming to burn Durvasa. But finally, Amrish Maharaj said, O Sudarshan Chakra, if I have performed a bhakti, a devotion on the size of a sesame seed, O my Krishna, please get peaceful. Just by hearing these words, Sudarshan Chakra was so peaceful there, and he disappeared. Seeing this, Durvasa glorified the devotees. Aho Ananta Dasanam Mahatam Vishnu Adhane. Today I have seen in my own eyes the glories of the devotees of the Lord. So this is the Amrish Lila, where Amrish Maharaj for 1 entire year, 1 year, he wanted to perform fasting. Here at Amrish. God
Now we are almost, we are, everybody is getting tired. So already past afternoon, evening is going to approach. So we will go to the next few places very quickly. Very his real power, he expanded into a big Vishnu form. So Dirgh means large. So he expanded and he showed his four-handed Vishnu form. So this is a place, now the beautiful new temple has been constructed. This is called Dirgh Vishnu. And this is the temple and this is the deity. You can see four-handed holding Shan Chakra Gada Padma. So that time, now this is Mathura some Aishwarya, as Maharaj is explaining before, some Aishwarya of Krishna there. But these Sakhas of Krishna, they are not in that Aishwarya. And they said, oh yes, that is fine. Sometimes Krishna shows these opulences because he has sometimes killed some demons in Vrindavan also. But they did not take this to conclude that Krishna is the Supreme Personality, because their mood is Krishna is our dear friend. But yes, he has some special powers which he shows from time to time. But still, that did not cover the mood of love for Krishna. So in this temple, there's many other places. There's a version of Giriraj as well as Ashwini. So Dirgh Vishnu Ki Jai. So one famous temple in Mathura is Dwarkadish. And behind the Dwarkadish temple is a very special temple of Adi Varaha. Not one, but two. So everyone knows the story of Varahadev. But Varahadev, who came, is one of the Leela avatars, one of the 10 incarnations of Krishna, which Jayadeva Goswami in Gita Govind also describes. And Varaha is the form of boar. And in each kalpa, different times, the Lord may appear. So Varahadev first appeared in the form of Krishna Varaha. Krishna means blackish complexion. And he appeared at the time of Swayambhav Manu. So in one day of Brahma, which is one kalpa, 1000 Chaturayugis, there are 14 Manus. And each one of them rules for 72 days, 72 Chaturayugis. So first time Lord Varaha appeared 70 months. So he appeared from the nostrils of Lord Brahma. And some of you might have seen this Nrsimha, this movie, right? So you saw that how from Lord Brahma, the tiny little boar came out. And seeing in front of everyone's eyes, he just sneezed and this boar came out. And while they could not even figure out who he was, he started expanding in size. And it became huge, so huge. And then he went into Rasata, where the Mother Earth had been submerged, and put her on his trunk and pulled her out of the ocean and established her at her place. So this is a Prachin Adi Varaha temple. So this is, you see, such a beautiful deity of Lord Varaha, and then you can see his tusk. On that tusk he brought Mother Earth out. So this is not an ordinary deity. Now this deity, there was in Satyam, there was a Brahman called Kapila, and he used to worship this deity of Varahadev. And then Indra, he did a lot of things to please this Kapila, this Brahman, because he wanted this deity. So he pleased the Brahman and asked him, can I take this deity and worship him? So the Brahman said, okay. So he took him to the heavenly planets, to Swarga, where Indra was worshipping Varahadev. And then, Ravana, who came in Tretayu, and he was so powerful that even he went to the heavens and he conquered heaven also and made Indra and all the demigods his servants. So that time he brought Varahadev from heaven to Lanka. And there in Lanka, Varahadev was residing there, this deity. And then when Lord Ramchandra, when he killed Ravana, at that time he brought his deity of Varahadev to Ayodhya. So he went to heaven, went to Lanka, went to Ayodhya, and there he was being worshipped. And then one time, Shatrughan came and he said, you have given some responsibility, some duty to each one of, to Lakshmana has served you, Bharat has served you, but I have not done any service. So that time in the Mathura area, this demon Lavanasur was creating a lot of havoc. So everyone was being so disturbed. So that time, Lord Ram told Shatrughan that you can go to Mathura and kill Lavanasur, so everyone can, all the rishis, Harshis, they can live peacefully. So Shatrughan said, as you ordered. So he was very happy that Lord Ram has given him an order. He said, but I have one request. So what is that request? Can I take this deity of Varaha? I want to worship him. So when he came to Mathura, he killed Lavanasur, and after that he established Varaha in Mathura. So this deity is still there in Mathura. So from Satyug to Treta to Dwapar, and then finally he is now in Kaliyug also, he is there in Mathura. So this is Krishna Varaha. Krishna Varaha Bhagavan ki Jai. But then there is another deity which is called Shvet Varaha. So Shvet Varaha was also another incarnation of Varaha, but he appeared in a different time of a different Manu, at the time of Chakshush Manu. And this is the Varaha who killed Hiranyaksha. So Hiranyaksha was the brother of Hiranyakashipu. He had submerged the earth in the ocean. At that time, Mother Prithvi Devi was very disturbed. She went and prayed to the Lord. And that time, he came in the form of Shvet Varaha. Again went inside the Rasatal and killed Hiranyakshas, and then brought Mother Prithvi out of the ocean. So this is Shvet Varaha. There are so many more points about these, but I will pray our obeisances to Shvet Varaha, and then let's go to a very special place from where the Parikama actually starts, and that is Sri Keshavji Gaudiya. This is a wonderful place where we first had darshan of our beloved Gurudev, the divine place, Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. This mutt was established in the 50s. So our Param Gurudev, Sri Bhaktivedanta Keshav Goswami Maharaj, before most of the preaching was in Bengal, Odisha, Assam, those areas, but then he also wanted to preach in the Hindi-speaking belt. So he came and he was looking for a place. This was a very dilapidated place, an old ashram, and I think they used to say that there are some ghosts live in this place. Nobody will even go there. But at that time, Param Gurudev, he had little money, and they took this place and he called this Keshavji Gaudiya. Here he established the deities of Shishi, Radha, Vrinodhikari. So Keshavji, so Mathura, the center of Mathura is Lord Keshav. So Mathura is compared to like a flower. So the wall, the center part of the flower, Karnika, so that is Sri Keshav. So after his name, this was named Sri Keshavji Gaudiya. And after Gurudev, his sannyas name is also Bhaktivedanta Keshav Goswami Maharaj. So this is where, right from the beginning, he entrusted the management and taking care of this mutt to our Gurudev, Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And Gurudev, that time, the local Mathura Vasis, and these were all Bengalis, except for Gurudev, who was from Bihar. So he could speak Hindi, but most of the other devotees were all Bengalis. And the Mathura Vasis used to say, oh, these Bengalis, they some jadoo to not karte hain. They do some black magic. So they would not even go close to them. So at that time, when everyone was so much opposed, and hardly anyone knew, even though this is Mathura, but not many people knew about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not even in Delhi, even some you go a little bit outside of Vrindavan, people did not know. Even in the 80s, people did not know who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. So this is in the 50s. So at that time, Gurudev stayed here, took this order of his Guru Maharaj, and slowly started developing preaching. And he started building connection with all the Brajvasis, going to their homes, taking care of them. And there's so many pastimes, but I can tell you that the Mathura Vasis, they just now, when we met Gurudev in late 80s, it was a sight to be seen that how they loved Gurudev. There's so much love and affection. Gurudev was such loving relationship with all of them. And he would go to their homes and they will come for every little thing. They will come to Gurudev. So this is the mutt where Gurudev stayed, and from this place only he started his worldwide preaching mission. This is a place where Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, who established ISKCON, he also came and stayed in this mutt in 1958 or 59. That time he came and stayed here for several months. And Gurudev and him had a very close relationship that was developed even before this, from 1947. And here, Gurudev took care of Swami Maharaj and then encouraged him to take sannyas. He took sannyas in this month only in 1959 on the Vishwarup Mahotsav Day. So it's a very special place, and this was the way the temple was before. There was a lot of there were shops below, and you know how in India, if someone comes and has a shop, they will not leave from their place. So there were litigation going on for a long time. Finally, the devotees were able to get everything resolved, and just very recently, now this whole temple has been reconstructed. So now it's like a multi-story temple, and the deities are still the same. These are Radha, Vinod Bihari, and this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Mahaprabhu was the deity of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, and he had first established him in Jhansi. He was trying to start his preaching mission in Jhansi, but again it was not very successful. So finally, when he came to Mathura, he asked them to take care of the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is a very special deity also from Swami Maharaj. So Shri Keshavji Gauriya Math Ki Jai. And then finally, we'll just take 2 minutes. So there is another very special place, Durvasa Rishi Ashram. So we just heard about Durvasa. So after Durvasa ji understood the glories of the devotees of the Lord, then he stayed here, a little bit distant from Mathura. So this is on the other side of Jamuna, and where he stayed and performed bhajan for many years. And this place is called Durvasa Rishi Ashram. And sometime in the 90s, mid-90s, the villagers of that area, this was an old temple, nobody was taking care of the temple. So they came to Gurudev and they requested him if they would take over the responsibility of this temple. So Gurudev then constructed this very beautiful temple, Durvasa Rishi Ashram, and these are very beautiful deities here as well of Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu. And especially on Basant Panchami, there is also a deity of Durvasa Rishi. And on the Basant Panchami day, it's a sight to be seen. You can see on some YouTube. There are thousands and thousands of people come here on the Basant Panchami day. And this is, I think, one of the previous satsangis I was sharing this past time. So this is where Durvasa Rishi was staying when the gopis from Vrindavan, they wanted to come and offer him some prasad. So when they were in Vrindavan, they came to Jamuna. Jamuna was flooded. And how to cross? There was no boat, there was no boatman, and they had cooked so many preparations to go and offer to Durvasa Rishi. So for his blessings. And so then what to do? So they went to Krishna and they said, how do we cross the river Jamuna? So Krishna said, just go and pray to Jamuna that if I, Krishna, has never touched a woman, has never been with a woman, then please give it way. So they were surprised. How is it possible? You are always running after us, you are always having fun with us. How is it that you have never touched or been with a young girl? He said, just go and say. So they went and prayed, and to their surprise, Jamuna ji parted like this, just like when Vasudeva was coming. So they had a way, and they went across, just even in this flooded Jamuna, they crossed Jamuna and went on the other side. And they went to the Durvasa Rishi, they offered him all these preparations. He ate everything. There were so many preparations. He ate everything and he blessed them. Now they had to go back, and the Jamuna was still flooded. So how to go back? for us to go back to Vrindavan. They said, how did you come? They said, oh, we just went to Krishna and this is what he said. We don't believe him, but because we had to come, we prayed and Jamuna gave away. So the Durvasa said, okay, now you go and tell Jamuna that if Durvasa has never eaten anything, then please give us away. So the Nandavas was surprised, just in front of our eyes, you ate so much. And how is it possible that you have not eaten anything? So just go and say. And then when they went and prayed, and then Jamuna gave them the again, and they were able to cross back. So they said, what is this, and what is the secret? What is the secret behind this? So then Durvasa Rishi explained to them that see, there is no kartritva bhav, there is no mood of being the doer or the enjoyer. So Krishna, of course, this is again deep topic, but he is Atma, Apakam. He has no material lusty desires. So when he is relating with the gopis, there is no difference. They are all, the Srimati Radhika is not different from Krishna. They are all expansions of Srimati Radhika. And he does not have that mood of the lust as a material people have. And similarly, the Durvasa Rishi, he is not eating food with a mood of enjoyment as we eat. So there is no mood of worship. So he said, because of that, even though I am eating, I am not eating. I am just eating for the as a kriya, but there is no attachment to that activity. So like this he explained, and then we will back to Vrindavan. So this is the place of the Durvasa Rishi, and this is where after this he never became angry. So this was the last time when Ambarish Maharaj, once he saw the glories of the devotees, after that there is no incident where he became angry or he cursed everyone. After that he only blessed. So we can now go to the Durvasa Rishi ashram, not being scared of him, but go and see his blessings.
That's why I said, na, in Mathura, lust, anger, greed, everything gets.
Sorry, there is a small story on that. Actually, what was happening is that Gurudev